Hey YouTubers, Johnny B here with another cooking video. I just want to show you this new apron I got from a friend. Don't worry, I can do this. Oh, I watched a YouTube video. Let me get this right here. Pretty cool, right? So today, I'm going to slap this on. We are doing a corn chowder from the GoPro. So I want to show you what I've done already. So over here, you can see the dirty skillet, right? I did bacon on this. So here's my bacon. So you want it a little crisp because I'm going to cut this up later. This will not go in the soup until later on because you want crispy bacon as like a garnish, because if you leave it in the soup, it gets rubbery, right? So you see all the bacon grease, right? That's your friend. But what I've done already, I got a little bit ahead because I don't want an extra long video. If you do not have a baster, a metal baster, okay, like this one. Let me get it into the camera. Think of camera. Okay, metal baster, because plastic will definitely burn with bacon grease. So it's extremely hot. So what I've done is I've sifted in from here to here the bacon grease. Then I added, it's a little bit warm, I added in butter, and I used about this much butter, okay? So what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4 teaspoons of butter. I don't measure too much, guys. So but what I have prepped in here is celery, onion, and garlic. And I use this device here. I want to show you. This thing is a lifesaver. A friend of ours bought this for us and had it shipped out to Washington, where we live. It's a Kuhn Recon Swiss design. So I washed it already. It's a little bit wet. So you just lay the 3 blades down, put all your vegetables or whatever you're cutting there, and basically it's a lawnmower. So you just, and it rips right through. Pretty awesome. And you end up with fine chops like this, okay? I cut up about, I want to say 6 russet potatoes, bite size. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 chicken bouillon cubes. So as you can see, this is my butter, and this is my bacon grease that's in there already. So right now we're going to sweat the celery, the onions, and I got about 5 cloves of garlic. That's a medium onion, 1 medium onion, 2 sticks of celery, and about 4 cloves of garlic. So we're going to throw that down. And let that do its thing. You probably sweat it down 3 to 4 minutes. Smells good already. Let that do its thing. So we're going to grab a whisk, but right now we're just sweating this down. Let it do its thing. And I do need some pepper. Where did the pepper go? I don't really add salt to this because those bouillon cubes are loaded with salt, and I also use salted butter. So that's plenty. Here we go. Fresh cracked pepper, throw that down in there. Probably add a little bit more later too, not only for a little bit of color, but also for taste, obviously. So just mix that in. This is sweating in pretty nicely. I'm just thinking ahead. So this is on low heat. I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. Now I have some flour. I'm just going to start to incorporate this and thicken this up a little at a time, because you'll burn the flour. They get too clumpy, and you don't want clumps once you add the water, because then it's a whole lot more. So just keep that moving, let it all incorporate, let it stick to the vegetables. This will make, once the soup cooks down, this will help thicken everything up. As you can see, it's starting to stick to everything. Has a little bit of a different flavor smell to it now. Delicious flavor, I should say. And that should be enough. Let's just Incorporate this good into here. Again, you don't want your heat too hot, because see how this is getting pasty now, right? As we continue to stir, that all that flavor is mixed in there. The base bacon grease, your butter, now your flour. So your roux is basically out of these vegetables, right? So now we are going to start incorporating the water. We're going to turn the heat up. So that's 2. 4. 6. 8 cups of water. Now what some people do is they heat their water up ahead of time and make the broth. I just incorporate those right in, because once it's hot, they're going to break right up, and then you're going to get your chicken broth flavor. So if this isn't enough, I can always add more. I'm out of the, those are the herbox, I believe they're called, bouillon cubes, but I have the Knorr ones up there where they're a little bit bigger cubes, and they're good for 2 cups. But we're also going to be adding milk a little bit later. Not a whole lot. Maybe a couple cups, because that's what's going to turn this more of a white flavor. So again, I'm turning this up almost to high because I want to get some activity out of it. Activity meaning bubbling, getting hot, getting warm. You can see the white in there. That's your flour, and that's all going to thicken this up a little bit, because you don't want corn chowder to be watery. There is, in fact, you know, your clam chowders, your Manhattan is watery because that's red, and your New England, which is the white, is a little bit thicker, and the Rhode Island, which is actually a clear clam chowder, obviously that's not thick, that's a clear. I have to make a Rhode Island. I'm not sure how to make that with a it's clear. So I could feel the bouillon cubes breaking up as I'm just whisking away, and I can feel the heat coming up, which is good. So again, the bacon over here is just going to sit and cool off, because we're going to cut that into chunks, and that's going to go on top of your soup, because your bacon grease is already incorporated into the soup broth. So you don't want rubbery bacon. At least if you're okay with that, just add the bacon right in after you chop it up. To each their own. To each their own. Okay, that's that. So now it's getting a little bit warmer. We may have to add more broth. But what I've done here is I chopped up about 6 russet potatoes. Medium-sized potatoes. And this is in very cold water. I actually added some ice cubes to this, which, that's not broken up. I added some ice cubes to this to keep it cold. And the reason you want cold water is because when you cut potatoes ahead of time and you don't keep them cold, the cells of the potato hit the air and they turn brown. Like you've seen it before. You cut a potato and you let it sit, you're going to see brown potato, and we don't want brown potato. We want nice white potato. So I'm going to go in with this now. This is going to cool it down, of course, a little bit, because these potatoes are cold. To see how much more soup we're getting out of that, because it didn't look like there was a whole lot in that pot. So we're on high right now because I want to get, again, some activity. Some of these might be cut too big, but don't forget too, as you mix, some of that potato will shave off. So we're just going to let that do its thing right now. Okay, so I put the lid on the pot just so I can trap the heat, and we got a good boil going on here. So you can grab your favorite corn. I just have a full big bag here. This is 2 pounds. Pretty cool. I can pull here and open. Let's see. But a lot of people, I don't have corn on the cob well, we have it here where I live, but you can actually shave that corn off and it's a lot sweeter. But I'm just going to throw in 2 pounds of corn. Of course, this is frozen corn, and it's going to cool it down once again. Filling her right up. So just mix that in. Okay. It won't take long, obviously, for that to, the corn really just has to get warm, right? And in the meantime, while that was heating up, I cut my bacon into small pieces. Again, you can add this bacon if you want into the soup, that's fine. Or what we do is once we grab a bowl, we just put this on top, as much bacon as we want on top, and incorporate it that way. You can do it as like a garnish, or you can do it right in the soup. So I am going to throw the lid back on this guy. Actually, what I'm going to do is add a little more pepper. And then I'm going to let it cook with the corn in there and then give it a taste. And then what I'm going to do is add some milk to it. Fresh cracked pepper. Yeah, it seems like a lot, but it's a big pot of soup, right? So let that do its thing. Throw the lid back on and let that simmer down for about another 10-15 minutes, probably 15 minutes. And I'll be back. Alright, this has been going for about 15 or 20 minutes, but I did forget one thing. I have 2 bay leaves. I should have added a little bit earlier, but I'm letting the flavors of those 2 bay leaves, there's the other one, just get incorporated into the soup. So I tried a potato about 5 minutes ago. It was about 75-80% done. I'm just going to let this simmer a bit. So we have a little bit of thickness to this, not crazy thickness, but the more you simmer this down, the thicker it'll get. But what I do have to do now is add my milk, which is the last. I don't really measure. I kind of go by sight and what I want the color of the soup to look like. So I'm just going to go, so maybe that was a cup. See, it's turning a little bit more white. So now you're getting that chowder look, right? A little bit more. There we go. There we go. Stir all that in. Maybe just a tad bit more. So this is probably I'm gonna guess 2.5 cups, if I was to guess. Again, I added a little bit of salt. You gotta be careful because this can get very salty. Plus, you're gonna add that bacon, right? But I thought the broth needed a little more flavor, and I added some pepper too. So we're just gonna let this all incorporate for another 10 minutes, and hopefully we're ready to go. Be back shortly. All right, so I let this simmer for about 20 more minutes. Took it off the burner for about 10. I do that because I feel that the flavors just kind of blend together once everything calms down. So here's your soup now. As you can see, the butter, there's bacon grease as part of your broth. That's your friend. That's your friend. So let's give it a mix. Again, I only added a little more salt, so you got to be careful. If you do make this and you think it needs salt, go a little at a time, because once you commit, you can't pull it back out, right? So you got to make sure you're not over salting, because the bacon, the butter, the bouillon cubes are loaded with salt. Added a little more pepper as well. So this is what it looks like. Okay. I'm just going to take a little bit right now. Very hot. I'm just going to lay this over here. Okay, bacon. A little bit of bacon in there. Mix it up. So grab a little of everything, right? A little potato, a little bacon. Let's see how we did. Yep, that'll do it. That does it. You know what? It's the bacon. Bacon really fixes everything, doesn't it, guys? Absolutely. Now, some people put red pepper in here. I mean, red bell pepper. You can do that. I do have some Texas toast down here right now. Normally I make my own garlic bread. I'll do a video on that one day. It's not very complicated, but it'll be a quick video. But I bought some Texas toast frozen. I have those in there right now, so I'm going to let this cool off. When that's done, I'm going to finish up. But that's the corn chowder, guys. Thanks for joining me. I'll be doing some more cooking videos shortly. Actually, today I'm going to do egg rolls. So that's up next. So find that wherever. Okay? On my page. Thanks for hanging with me, guys. See you in the next video. So long.